What's going on, Ravens flock? Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us for another edition of the Ravens Rundown as we preview Sunday's matchup between your Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars. We will go over the injury report, give you my keys to victory, as well as my prediction coming up at the end of today's show. Before we get to all that, though, if you want the Ravens to beat the Jags, here's what I need you to do. I need you to smash the like button on today's video. Don't be the guy that jinxes it for the Ravens. I don't want you to be the reason why they don't win Sunday because you didn't like today's video. It is scientifically proven that if you like our videos, the Ravens are more likely to win. So go ahead and like today's video if you want to see a Baltimore Ravens win on Sunday. The Ravens taking on the Jags. Both teams in opposite directions, essentially. The Ravens at 7-3. They're on a winning streak. They've been playing some really good football as of late. Meanwhile, the Jags started out the year with a good start, but then things went downhill from there pretty fast. But even with that said, the Jags still can have an explosive offense led by Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. And with that being said, with the Ravens coming in with momentum, this is the definition of a trap game for Baltimore. And the odds, according to the guys out in the desert, show that the Ravens aren't a heavy favorite in this game, just 4. The over-under at 43.5. Can the Ravens keep the momentum going? Will they continue to roll through and dominate this Jaguars team? Remember last week, as well as the defense played against Carolina, they only put 13 points of offense on the board. So for me, the bet here, take the under as far as I'm concerned when it comes to this game. Who do you got? Who's going to win on Sunday? The Ravens or the Jags? Let me know in the comments section below. Type BAL for the Ravens. For the Jags, type JAC. Let me know who you got Sunday. You going with your Ravens or are you going with the Jags? Let's begin with the injury report for the Ravens. Gus Edwards dealing with a hammy. He's questionable. We'll see if he can give it a go or not. Jalyn Armour-Davis at cornerback dealing with a hip injury. He is questionable as well. And then there's Ronnie Stanley alongside Kyle Hamilton, both in similar circumstances. Remember, they got dinged up in the third quarter of Sunday's game. And what we were told from John Harbaugh at the time was that it wasn't serious, that it wasn't that big of a deal what those guys are going through, but they're still questionable on the injury report. So we'll continue to track and see if the guys do play or not. We mentioned Kyle Hamilton with that knee. Then there's Josh Ross with the foot. He's coming off of IR. Don't expect him necessarily to be back right away this week, but his return should be coming pretty soon. And then there's DeSean Jackson, who we have barely seen in a Ravens uniform at this point in time. That hamstring he suffered against the New Orleans Saints, he's questionable as well. So we'll keep tabs on these guys and see who plays coming up on Sunday. But that's 5 players questionable, and then Josh Ross coming off injured reserve with that foot injury. Let's move on now to my keys to victory for your Baltimore Ravens. It all starts with slowing down Travis Etienne. Etienne has had a really good year for this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Remember, he missed all of his rookie year last year with that injury that he suffered, that torn ACL, and he's come back with vengeance in 2022. You look at the last 5 games, he's been outstanding. 109 yards, 2 touchdowns against Las Vegas, 156 against Denver, 114 against the New York Giants, 86 against Indianapolis. He's playing at a Pro Bowl level. But what we've seen, for the most part, if you can slow down Travis Etienne, you're probably going to win. In fact, you will win. Even if you don't slow him down, you still have a chance to win, but you certainly increase your chances of defeating Jacksonville if you are able to slow down Etienne. He is the bread and butter of this Jacksonville Jaguars offense. Look at what Kansas City did last week. They slowed him down early, and that really just threw this Jags team for a curve. They couldn't get back on track after that. So for me, stopping Travis Etienne will be pivotal for this Ravens defense. Then the red zone touchdowns. You know, we talk about the size advantage that the Ravens have when it comes to guys like Mark Andrews and some of their bigger targets like Isaiah Likely. And for me, I look at it's not just getting to the red zone and getting points, but getting touchdowns, staying out of the friend zone and getting into the end zone, right? Listen to this. Not only do I like what the Ravens have size-wise, the advantage down in the red zone, because size matters and everything here, but also keep in mind this when looking at this Jags team. Dating back to 2021, they are 0-15 when their opponents convert 55% or more of those red zone chances into touchdowns. So let's just call it half, just to make things simple here. If half of the Ravens' red zone trips turn into touchdowns, they win. Simple as that. That's what the statistics show right here. So getting to the end zone, getting those scores, not settling for 3, going for 7, will go a long ways into beating this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Got a couple more keys to victory here for you. We'll get to in here just a second. But I want you to name a player of the game for me. Who's going to come up big for this Ravens team? Will it be Lamar Jackson? Will it be Kenyan Drake? Mark Andrews? Is it a defensive player like Roquan Smith or Patrick Queen? Whoever it is, you tell me. Give me a name or two who you think will be the player of the game that will come up big for a Ravens victory on Sunday. Today's show is sponsored by Established Titles. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. We plant a tree with every order and work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane tickets, dating profiles, and more. It makes for a great last-minute gift. The first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will be effectively next to my plot within a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a Lord or a Lady, we can build our little Ravens rundown kingdom together. Established Titles is actually running a massive holiday sale right now with discounts up to 80% off. Plus, if you use the code CHAT, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/chat to get your gifts now and help support the channel here at the Ravens Rundown. It's establishedtitles.com/chat for that extra perfect holiday gift. Get yours today. All right, so we got 3 more keys of the game to get to. The next man up at receiver. Look, ever since Rashad Bateman went down, the Ravens have had to figure it out, right? It's been a different guy every game, essentially. The last game it was DeMarcus Robinson. We've seen already at times Isaiah Likely, who's your number 2 tight end, kind of fill the void at that wide receiver spot. I don't know who it's going to be. Quite frankly, once you get past Devin Duvernay, you have to have Devin Duvernay play well. But who's going to be the guy after that? Just anybody. I mean, Baltimore has targeted Ravens wide receivers 41% of the time. That's the lowest in the NFL. And I know some of you are going to sit out there and say, well, it has to do with Greg Roman's scheme. That's how they do things here. Well, if you had receivers to throw the ball to, I don't care what the scheme is. You would get them the football. So somebody's got to step up and play that wide receiver position and get open and take advantage of their defensive opponents here. The Ravens receiving leaders, you can see Mark Andrews, Devin Duvernay, your top 2 guys. Rashad Bateman, sure, he just had 15 catches before he got hurt. But think about this. D-Rob just now is catching up to the numbers that Rashad Bateman had. And it took 10 more catches to get to that point, essentially. I like Isaiah Likely a lot. Let's see more of him. So somebody who wants to be that next man up at wide receiver, come to the seat at the table and eat the Thanksgiving feast. Whoever of you, wide receivers, wants to feast, you have an opportunity to do so on Sunday. Who will lead the Ravens in receiving? Is it going to be Mark Andrews? Is it going to be Devin Duvernay or somebody else? Let us know in the comments section. Predict it for me. Who will lead the Ravens in receiving? Let me know. Yards after contact is going to be a big key. And this doesn't just apply to the running backs. Kenyan Drake has been very good with yards after contact. And if Gus Edwards plays, we know that Gus Bus is going to be going. But also think about the receivers with the yards after catch and breaking tackles and all that. Fighting for those extra yards could go a long way. And here's something to think about with this Jags team. They have allowed the most broken tackles of any team in the NFL this year. 48 broken tackles. They are lousy when it comes to tackling, this Jags team is. So whether you're a receiver, a tight end, a running back, whoever it may be, that second effort, fighting for that extra yardage, could turn into some big plays with the way that the Jags have struggled when it comes to tackling. That's the most in the NFL. So something to watch for is that second chance effort, getting that yards after contact, no matter who you are, quite frankly, on that front. One more key to victory to get to for the Ravens in a moment. Before we do, predict the score of Sunday's game. I asked you earlier who you have winning. What's the score going to be? Tell me in the comment section how you think Sunday's game is going to be. Will it be high scoring, a low scoring game like we saw last week? Let me know what the score will be. We'll have post-game coverage for you coming up on Sunday as we cover this team each and every day here on the channel. The run to the playoffs is right here on the Ravens Rundown. Subscribe now so you never miss a moment of the latest happenings with your favorite team. YouTube.com/RavensTV. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Last one for you on the keys to victory for Baltimore. I want Baltimore, this Ravens team, to make the Jags fear Lamar Jackson. And as I was scouring the internet, doing my scouting reports and seeing what the other team's media was saying, going behind enemy lines, if you want to call it that, I came across this from Carlos Sanchez, who covers the Jags for blackandteal.com. And he said, moreover, Jackson's ability to run will keep the Jags defense on their toes. He touted the rock 97 times for 666 yards. That's an interesting number. With 3 touchdowns this season, and he's a threat to take off at any given time. Keeping him in check will ensure the game doesn't get out of reach. So just the fear of Lamar being able to escape and make crazy plays like that, keep them on their toes. So with that big playability, the things that Lamar does, don't hold him back. Make them fear Lamar of what he can do any given play. To me, that is going to be crucial to keep, just like what Carlos said there, the Jags on their toes. My pick, I like the Ravens to win, and I like them to cover. I like the under, though. I'll go with Baltimore 24-10 to keep the winning streak on going. Let's see this thing continue for this Baltimore Ravens team. Are you rooting for the Ravens on Sunday? Of course you're rooting for the Ravens on Sunday. Real ones out there, spam flock in the comments section. You want to see a Ravens win? I need you to type flock as many times as humanly possible and show your support for your Baltimore Ravens. As always, you can follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and everything in between at Tyler Jones Live. And I will see you next time right here on the Ravens Rundown.